rest in peace. I'm Chris Wolvie, the wrestling vlog who always tells it like it is. When Mark Calloway left WCW for what was then the World Wrestling Federation, I'm sure he had no idea what Vince had in store for him. And I think that no one had any idea his career would be so enduring. I mean, hell, WCW booker Ole Anderson once told Mark that no one would pay to watch him compete. Boy, was he wrong. All it took was a little morbid makeover. When he first arrived as the mystery partner in the $1 Million Team at the 1990 Survivor Series, the former mean Mark Callis came out to a funeral dirge dressed all in black and called Kane the Undertaker. The Kane part was quickly ditched. But it was obvious from the start that this former champion from World Class Championship Wrestling and United States Wrestling Association could make people pay to see him. After being managed for a few months by Bruce Brother Love Pritchard, The Undertaker would be rejoined by his WCCW manager Bill Moody, who was Percy Pringle in the Von Erich's backyard, but here went by the mortician Paul Bearer. Almost exactly 1 year after his debut, he won his first WWE Championship, defeating Hulk Hogan, though in controversial fashion. Hulk would win it back 5 days later in likewise controversial fashion, setting up the 1992 Royal Rumble to have the title go to the winner. Since then, The Undertaker had a long and grueling career in the WWE. He's won primary gold 6 more times, was a 5-time tag champ with 4 different partners, was even a hardcore champ for a short while. He went from being a true Undertaker to being an American badass riding a Harley, and then back to his Undertaker shtick. He won the Royal Rumble in 2007, and his most recent accomplishment was winning the Tuwaiq Trophy at what might possibly have been the final pay-per-view in Saudi Arabia earlier this year. Of course, his most impressive accomplishment was the streak. He wrestled in 21 out of the first 22 WrestleManias since he arrived, and he won them all. He won titles. He beat Shawn Michaels twice. He beat Triple H 3 times. He retired Michaels, who retired Ric Flair, which makes him the man in my book. And he always put on one hell of a show every time. Of course, that streak was infamously broken by Brock Lesnar 7 years ago. He would return to win 2 more WrestleMania matches before Roman Reigns took him down again. At this point, we thought he was done, but John Cena just had to goad him back into the ring, as did AJ Styles last year. Many titles, a 25-2 record at the Showcase of the Immortals, a certain first ballot Hall of Fame induction. Taker has done it all. Now at last, he seems to be done with it all. During WWE Network's The Last Ride docuseries on The Undertaker, he let slip out that though he might be open to see one more match if Vince needs him, his 55-year-old body has finally caught up with him, and the Boneyard match back in April truly was his last ride. And quite honestly, I think it was a few years too late. Every time I saw Undertaker, it seemed to me he looked weaker and weaker than the last time. I mean, he still had muscles, but they seemed smaller each time. His rib cage was starting to show. And I was shocked his body didn't try to sue his legs for lack of support. They still tried to portray him as nigh on unstoppable, but I'm afraid I wasn't buying it. The dude looked spent for years now. In fact, after his match with Lesnar, Vince had to call an ambulance because of concern over Taker's health. Why he kept coming back after that confuses me. And if that wasn't befuddling enough, he looked for all the world to be hanging it up after Reigns beat him. Hell, the stadium even went dark after he left with the bells tolling. And yet, he laced him up again to squash Cena the following year. At the very least, they should have put him and Lesnar in a return match so that Taker could have got revenge on the loss before riding off into the sunset. But no, Brock was too busy being a part-time champion to be bothered by the aging superstar. Still, I can't deny that he had the guts to keep his career going for over 30 years through 4 feds. Some wrestlers could only dream of that long a career, even if the last decade only had him fighting 3 or 4 times a year at the most. But I believe it is long past due time for Mark Calloway to hang up the long trench coat, dark gloves, and wide-brimmed hat for good. Head back to Texas, enjoy your retirement with your wife Michelle and 4 children, and for the love of San Martino, do not pick up the phone if Vince calls. You have earned the right to rest in peace. I'm Chris Wolvie, the wrestling vlogger who always tells it like it is. Stay safe, and I'll see you.